In today's video, we're going to put together my Wright Flyer. This is the one I picked up when I went to the Wright Brothers Museum in Dayton, Ohio. And we're also going to look at some things that you didn't see from that Dayton, Ohio visit. Welcome everyone, Mark here from the Average Me channel. I got my Wright Flyer model kit. I think this is going to be really easy to put together because it says easy to assemble. But more importantly, it says ages 8 and up. I just thought it looked really cool. When I was a kid, I used to like to fly those balsa wood airplanes. Sometimes they were just gliders, sometimes they had a little propeller with the rubber band that you'd wind up. So I'm going to take this apart, open it up, and we're going to see what's inside. According to the instructions, it looks like it has a fuselage here, some wings, some tail, a rudder, and some other things. So let's take a look at it. Oh, I thought this might be, I thought it might be balsa wood, but it looks like it's plastic. Oh no, it's not plastic, it's foam. It's foam, all right. Now, I don't have a scissors or anything to get into this, so let's see if I'm man enough just to tear it open. And here we go. Let's see what we have. We have, this looks like the main piece. It looks like kind of the fuselage pieces here. And then we have a couple of wings. And I guess these are, I don't know, tail, maybe elevators. And then we have just a lot of, no, these are not rubber bands, okay. We have a lot of these little pieces that look like this. So let's see if there is any instructions at all to this, or if you're just supposed to do it on your own. Okay, there's no instructions. So I guess I'm just going to look at, I guess there's a little picture right there. You see that on the bottom? So if an 8-year-old can do it, I think I can do it. So what we're going to do is, while we're talking about this, I want to talk a little bit about what we did on that trip. So let's make sure I'm putting this together right. I'm supposed to put the wings on top and bottom. Are these wings exactly the same? Yeah, they look like they're the same. And if I look at the picture on the front, okay, so we're going to put this in here. One of the things I did is I went to a cemetery there that actually had quite a few interesting celebrities buried there. So the first one that I went to see, of course, was the Wright brothers. So while I'm putting these wings in the Wright Flyer, let's take a look at my visit to that cemetery and see what I found when I approached the Wright brothers' final resting spot. So now we're at Woodland Cemetery. This is where the Wright brothers are buried. So we're gonna go and see if we can find their memorial. I don't know who this guy is, but boy, he must have been important. He's looking out over the cemetery for all eternity. One thing for sure, I'm not gonna have to go on the treadmill today. This is hilly and it's giving me a workout. Look how the tree is pushing this tombstone right up out of the ground. Poor Mary Kane. And this is the Wright brothers burial site. There we have Orville Wright. There's Sister Catherine. And Wilbur Wright. And look at that, somebody left him a little airplane. The first men to invent controlled powered flight. So that was the Wright brothers, and this is how far I got so far. And I'm here to tell you, no 8-year-old would be able to put this together based on the instructions they gave. I think I got it right so far, but it's only half a plane, so we've got more to do. Now, the other famous resident of Dayton whose gravesite I visited was Paul Laurence Dunbar. Now, Dunbar was famous for being a writer, a novelist, a poet. He wrote lyrics for a Broadway show, the first black African-American Broadway show that ever played. And his connection with the Wright brothers was they kind of grew up together, and his early writings were published in a newspaper that the Wright brothers published because they were printers prior to getting to the bicycle business, prior to inventing the airplane. So I'm going to try to put this other side on this plane, and while I'm doing that, you can look at my visit to Paul Laurence Dunbar's resting place. And not too far from the Wright brothers' resting place is poet Paul Laurence Dunbar. When I say it's not far at all, right over there with the flags, that is the Wright brothers. I think it's very interesting how often you find famous people whose lives were intertwined at some point that end up very close together in their final resting place. It was the same thing when I went to visit P.T. Barnum's gravesite. Not far away at all was the resting place of little General Tom Thumb, who was one of his major attractions for so many years. I'm gonna guess maybe this was his sister. They were born a year apart, but it looks like she died when she was just around 3 years old. And apparently he died a very young man as well, only in his 30s. And this is a grave of Daniel Mead. He founded the Mead Corporation, which produces a lot of paper products. This cemetery is also the final resting place of popular syndicated columnist Irma Bombeck. She was a humorist, and I don't know if I'll find it, but her resting place is in Woodland Cemetery. Well, it's starting to come together. And if I was 8 years old, I would have thrown this thing across a room a long time ago. And I don't mean flown it across a room. I mean out of frustration. I have built full pieces of furniture that were easier to understand than this thing. But it looks pretty good, doesn't it? We're almost there. I still have some supports to put in. Now, another gravesite that I visited was Little Johnny Morehouse. And they have these nice brochures right by the gravesite that tells the story of Johnny Morehouse. So let's take a look. Johnny lived on the southeast corner of East 3rd Street and June Streets. He was the youngest son of a local cobbler whose shop was located in Dayton. As many children would, Johnny would play with his dog along the canal. One day while playing, Johnny fell into the canal. His dog went in the water after him to pull Johnny out, but it was too late. Johnny had already drowned. According to local legend, after Johnny was buried, his dog loyally sat by the grave, morning, noon, and night, and visitors would come by and feed him. We can see, I suppose that's Johnny's harmonica, his cap, a ball, and a pear. And Johnny's dog is protecting him even in death. And the inscription on the side reads, "Slumber Sweet." Well, I got it together, and I'm here to tell you, no 8-year-old would have been able to do this. It was so frustrating, especially putting these, they're like little rings that are supposed to hold it together. I just about tore a hole through the bottom of this trying to get that on, because these pieces are just not that precision made. But oh, here's one safety bar already fell out. But nevertheless, it's kind of a, let's see if I can get that in. It's kind of a neat little thing. I could see this when it says for ages 8. I could see this being an 8-year-old playing with it once it's all done. This would be a nice thing, you know, if an adult would want to work with their son or daughter and just have a little Saturday afternoon project to play with. This could be really, really fun. I'm already having a hard time getting this cross brace in. There it goes. It keeps popping out. Yeah, you know, these are just molded plastic pieces, and sometimes the precision on them, it lacks a little bit, right? So anyway, there it is. There's one other thing that happened to me at that cemetery, so let's take a look. This doesn't look good. The gates are all closed. I hope I can get out of here. Seriously? I am locked in the cemetery. Oh, good Lord. How am I going to get out of here? Oh, well. I got to get out. I can squeeze through here, I guess. Yeah, I'm locked. I might have to climb out. Now that wasn't even funny. I had to climb over that wall to get out. Of course, you know why they lock the gates on the cemetery, right? Because people are dying to get in. Okay, I'll leave you with that one. I did get out, but I hadn't climbed a wall in a long time. Well, let's see how she flies. You know what I think? I think this is going to look better on the shelf behind me rather than flying through the air. Oh well, it was fun to make, and it was fun having you here with me. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Leave your comments down below, and think about becoming a Patreon sponsor where you can get postcards from all the different places I visit, like the Wright Brothers Museum. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Mark with the Average Me channel.
Well, you made it to the end, and you found the secret message. Alright, it's not really secret. I just want you to like, share, and subscribe. And click that bell icon so you know when we post new videos. I salute you.